Hey everyone, welcome back to Talk with Rose. So, a few episodes ago, I was trying to look at some older newspapers online because I wanted to know what was being said by the neighbors and reported by the neighbors and everything before the Munchausen by proxy got brought to court and started explaining things, and then the neighbors went silent for some reason. And now all the neighbors don't want to be bothered, they don't want to be talked to, and they're silent. I didn't find the articles I wanted to. I found another interesting article I went over and stuff from when Gypsy was living in Louisiana. But Toddy here, she somehow found this literal magazine. I don't think it's an article she found online. She's holding an actual magazine. And it's not from the U.S., is what she says. And it's pretty juicy because here's what I was looking for. What the neighbors and everybody was reporting, Nick too, was reporting before they came up with their defense to get Gypsy off. So let's let Toddy read it. And let's hear from Toddy, guys.
Food, and that it seemed like, Dee Dee knew about Nick. The other thing people always...
Oh, yeah, that's the other interesting part. We're going to prove that Dee Dee did know about Nick. So when we speculated that picture in the theater, that she took it of Gypsy and Nick happy, she did know about Nick. She did like Nick. It was Dan she hated. So Fancy might... This is also weird because... I don't know about after this article, though, what was said. I don't know about Dan doing the unaliving, though. But Dee Dee bragged about Nick.
Remarked on was the close relationship Dee Dee had with her daughter when who she looked after full time. She always made sure Gypsy, 19, looked immaculate and had been even more proud in recent months since she had been dating 26-year-old Nick Godejohn. They're so in love, she'd tell her friends.
Gypsy's so in love, she'd tell her friends. Is that why she never counted Nick as one of her loves? Because her mom did? And maybe the cop is right. Gypsy did hate her mom. Because Nick is the only one that she won't claim as one of her past loves. And that's the only one Dee Dee liked.
Where is this article? I mean, It's lovely to see, she said. Over the next week, Kevin saw Dee Dee and Gypsy go out just as much as usual. But then on the Sunday, he saw their friend Kim frantically knocking at Dee Dee's door. Everything okay, he called? I'm not sure, she frowned. I saw a weird post online, and they're talking about how the post talked about how Gypsy, that post that was on the Facebook post about what slashing that and all that stuff, right? Here's what's interesting, though. This is when the police go and take over, and the police say, you can go, we'll take it from here. County Sheriff Jim Arnett told them if there's any news, we'll get in touch. But what he found inside shocked not only him, but the rest of the sleepy community. After forcing the door open and searching downstairs, the sheriff had then climbed The stairs, remember the house was a mess. I showed you pictures of that. House was a mess. After forcing the door and searching down the stairs, the sheriff had then climbed the stairs and pushed open Dee Dee's bedroom door and discovered her body face down on the bed in a pool of blood. She'd been reportedly and Gypsy was nowhere to be seen. When news got out, the neighbors were stunned. I can't believe this, Kevin. Because this is the bit that I really want us to focus on. Hang on, don't go anywhere. This is the bit. I just hope Gypsy is okay, they say. So this is after, they went through they found the Facebook thing, and now they're talking, the neighbors are talking among themselves. This is the article. I just hope Gypsy is okay. But just as they were trying to come to terms with that, with all that happened to Dee Dee, there came another bombshell. Gypsy, the beloved daughter who she cared for, was arrested for her MURDER. Police had tracked her down to boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn's place, his home in Wisconsin, nearly 600 miles away, where they believed she'd posted the Facebook message from. When questioned by detectives, Gypsy said she'd put the message out there so that her mom's body would be found quickly. She told police she heard her mom screaming as her boyfriend her before trying to clean up from her hands and using baby wipes and fleeing in a taxi. Nicholas's version was that his girlfriend had asked him to his mom, and that she'd held Dee Dee down as
Gypsy held Dee Dee down. She was in the room. She lied about being in the room. She lied about being part of it. Nick was solely there to be set up. That's why she bought only him the bus pass. She never bought her a bus pass. She never was gonna leave with Nick. She was gonna go with Dan, and she was gonna mail that weapon to Nick's house, and she was just gonna completely frame Nick for everything. So there's this huge true story somewhere in there.
her. You guys, Psycho, right? That's the sound of, because I can't say it here. So let me repeat that. Nicholas's version was that his girlfriend had asked him. His girlfriend's who? Gypsy Rose. Nicholas's version was that his girlfriend had asked him to do that to his mom, and that she held Dee Dee down as he psychoed her. That's what it says here. Then the couple had stolen thousands of dollars from a safe in the deceased woman's bedroom before fleeing back to his home. Kevin was stunned as an officer explained to him what had happened. She was the nicest lady in the world, he said quietly. Why? But then came the final twist. Police soon discovered Gypsy wasn't as ill as she made out, and that she used the wheelchair despite being able to walk, run, dance, and everything. I added the dance and everything.
I think, as I theorized, that maybe Dee Dee did like Nick. Maybe Dee Dee wanted Nick to move in, and they were going to take care of Dee Dee and continue the grift. And Dee Dee didn't want to let go of Gypsy, and now she wanted to get Nick in on it. So But as Gypsy said in court, why did your mom have to be unalived? Because I wanted out from under the control she had on me. Because Dee Dee wanted to. Obviously, she was okay with Gypsy having a boyfriend, the right kind of boyfriend. And maybe Dee Dee was gonna take in this autistic boy who was dating the disabled daughter, and that would bring in more money and more attention and more grifting, just different ways they can grift. And be like, all right, you guys, look, see, my daughter's dating this really nice boy who has autism, and well, he's getting that money every month from the state, and so he's comes with his own money, and then and they were also thinking of moving to Florida where Beckerman was. And maybe Gypsy was like, I don't want to go to Florida. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And her mom, Dee Dee, was like, no, we need to do this. You know, the grift was closing in on them in Missouri. The fraud was coming out. They had to make a move. And Dee Dee's move was, let's go to Florida. Nick had come to. We'll start a whole new grift. My sick daughter and her autistic boyfriend that I take care of, which I'm also sick too. I got diabetes and stuff, and we just take care of each other, and people keep feeling sorry for them and handing them money and trips and things, and they can continue this happy life. However, Gypsy wanted, and she says that today when she talks about Christy and Rod. Well, I like being with Christy and Rod better because they let me have my whole freedom. And I semi-understand the fact that it's hard when you're an only child and your parent goes sick and you gotta take care of your parent. Or find someone to take care of your parent, or put your parent in a home or something. You gotta figure out something to do with your parent. And, Gypsy's solution was, no, we just have to do this unaliving. I'm surprised that there was no duct tape found. I'm surprised Gypsy didn't jump on her mom and start duct taping her and everything. They just jumped on and did the act and got off. And then maybe when the cop showed up at Nick's house, Gypsy's like, I wasn't in the room. I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom. You locked me in the bathroom. I wasn't in the room. And Nick at least kept that lie. And because Nick told the officer that Gypsy wanted in a way to do it herself, but Gypsy's like, I can't when she was in that interview. So he did it, and that's why he's in trouble, because I can't do that to anyone. Because maybe Gypsy tried. Maybe that's why everybody's right about the superficial. There's a few superficial wounds on Dee Dee that didn't go in far at all. And she's like, I can't do it. See, I can't do it. And she gave it to Nick. And one of the reasons they gave Gypsy the plea deal was because if Gypsy went to trial, then the autopsy report would have been made public. But by Gypsy not going to trial, it sealed the autopsy report. No one will ever read that autopsy report. It did not become public knowledge, and the coroner's office won't release it. It is a sealed deal. It was sealed with Gypsy's silence. And that's the biggest reason why Gypsy had to take the plea deal, was evidence. Once you take a plea deal, both lawyers lock the evidence up that they were going to use in jury trial, and it stays locked up until the plea deal is complete. And when the plea deal is complete, yeah, well, then it just remains locked up. If you violate the plea deal, then you go to court and all the evidence spills out that was suppressed. And so when she took that plea deal for the 10-year sentence, as long as she fulfills her side of the... And I wonder if that's one reason why her probation officer is being lenient, not going to violate her, because if she gets violated and ends up back in court and she fails that plea deal, a whole can of worms is going to spill out. Because then that autopsy report and everything will become evidence. It will become public knowledge. And that's the number one thing everybody on the internet has asked for and nobody has ever seen. Is that autopsy report. There's something in that autopsy report that there's a reason they won't release it. And that's the one thing everybody is just dying to see, me included, because everybody knows there's a lot of answers in that autopsy report. Maybe Nick said that they did want to do everything together, and Ruby said they would do it together to a family member, but they would be gentle about it. So maybe they did try and do it together. And then, to answer everybody's next question, why was the Barney doll put on Dee Dee's head? If everybody looks at Gypsy speaks in cliches and movie kind of speak. Gypsy doesn't know how to talk or interact with people. Everything Gypsy says, she got from somebody. I forgot what I heard yesterday. Gypsy's been saying lately, I guess, that somebody pinpointed where she got it. Like her "I'm living my best life ever," she got that from Rachel Garlick. Gypsy isn't original, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes, all this. When she did the D is fire post, look at the beginning of the post. What does it say? Isn't it very familiar? I love you, you love me. And then she goes on to talk and ends it with another cliche. The Barney doll was her way of living in that cliche of telling Dee Dee, I love you and you love me. We're a happy family, even though I did this to you. It's her sick, twisted way, her sick, twisted last message to Dee Dee that we were a happy family, but you did control me too much. Because Gypsy watched as everybody thought they were the perfect family, the perfect mother and daughter. Nobody had ever seen a mother and daughter that loved each other that much, ever. They were the perfect mother and daughter. And that Barney doll was like the last sick, twisted cliche of I love you, you love me, we're a happy family. Because she could have chose any stuffed animal. Rapunzel would have represented her. She could have chose any animal, any doll. And Gypsy said that when she told her mom, I love you, and she said, why, I'm not dead yet. I guess they didn't say I love you a lot to each other, even though they acted like they loved each other a lot. Because the general response when your kid says I love you is, love you too. And she's like, no, I love you, Mom, I do, and you love me, and we were a happy family, but I need my freedom. I think the Barney doll was that message, that cliche message that Gypsy speaks in. I'll have to find out what Gypsy did like, when you think Gypsy's doing something original, it's not. Go find where she got it from. Because right now she's pulling. She scared Adaptive Kate away from being an advocate. And now she's telling everybody, you scared me away from being an advocate. I can't advocate anymore. You guys scared. She copies. She's just a copycat. That's all she does. She's just one big copycat. She doesn't have an original thought. She lives in movies and cliches and stuff, and she lives in her own fantasy world. Her knight in shining armor. And I'm surprised the world is supporting it. I thought the world was trying to get rid of the princess theme of the whole, you're my knight in shining armor, I need to be saved by a man. Girl power, gate boss, girl keep, or whatever, gate keeping, what's that other word? That other G word. I know it keeps slipping my mind though. And Gypsy's on her way to try and doing that, but I thought girls were supposed to be badasses or something. And here everybody is. Gypsy's famous for being the damsel in distress that begged her boyfriend to save her, and he did, and everybody's glad and wants to see him put away for saving her, and the damsel in distress is now out of her tower. So I just wanted to make this real quick video showing you that there are those newspaper articles out there like I thought. I was trying to go on a deep dive and find them. I wanted to find those old articles where the neighbors first spoke out. Because in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest and everything, the neighbors speak out a little bit, but I mean, it's a documentary. They clip and cut what they want to get their point of view across. But those neighbors have a lot to say, and I bet they said a lot. When you first find out that you've been duped, frauded, lied to, used, and abused, you're angry and you say things in the moment. Like when they told David Blanchard that Dee Dee was gone, the first thing he said very nonchalantly was, so Gypsy finally did it, huh? There was no doubt in his mind that Gypsy did it. He knew about it. He knew about Gypsy wanting to do that. And so just remember, she speaks in cliches and fantasy talk and hardly an original idea. There's no critical thinking up in that head. It's always copying people and trying to make it work for her. She just copies and makes it work and fools you. So, alright, you guys, have a good day. Stay warm, stay safe, stay loved, stay happy. Because you are so also very loved, I promise. And just be kind to each other in life. And let me know if you guys find some old articles. I'm interested in these old articles. I'm trying to find them myself. So, message me if you find these old articles, because I really want to find these old articles. Yeah, you want to go do some, what you call it? I figured you might want, yeah. And so, let me just grab my blanket and stuff. I'm a little cold. But let me know if you guys find some of these old articles. Because where we're going to find the biggest truth is in those first couple of weeks. Those neighbors were angry and they said stuff. The world was angry and they said stuff. But now they're being tight-lipped again. But they did say stuff when this first came out. Maybe I ought to figure out a way to dig deeper, because it's there like I thought it was. Because Toddy found it. So it's there. The only article I found was her talking about her grandpa being her best friend. I think her mom got jealous and possibly made up that story of the grandpa essaying them, because she needed Gypsy to not. She wanted to be Gypsy's best friend, not the grandpa. And so it was right there in the news article that she spent her whole day with Claude, and Claude was her best friend. Not Dee Dee, Claude. And Dee Dee had to remedy that. She's jealous. Where do you think Gypsy gets her jealousy? Of Mia and stuff. And now Gypsy is stealing Mia's life. Gypsy is now living with Rod and Christy, and now she's trying to become the favorite daughter over Mia. Because Gypsy thinks she deserved that life. And she didn't deserve the life she had with Dee Dee. She deserved Mia's life. All right, you guys, have a great day. And we'll see you later.